My name is Clara Bennett, and I'm 29 years old, born and raised in Savannah, Georgia, where jasmine weaves sweetness into the air, and the past clings like moss to ancient oaks. I grew up in a creaking Victorian house, its floors echoing with my family's laughter and secrets. My sister Lila, 2 years younger, was my shadow, my confidant, my mirror. Her golden curls and quick smile could charm anyone, while I, with dark hair and quieter ways, was the steady one. The planner who kept our family's bookstore, Bennett's Pages, alive. Our parents, Ellen and Robert, filled our childhood with stories until a car accident stole them when I was 18 and Lila 16. I became her guardian, pouring my heart into raising her and saving the bookstore. I thought we were unbreakable. I was wrong. Lila was my best friend, or so I believed, until she took everything. My belongings, my dreams, and the man I loved, Ethan Cole. Ethan, a history professor with kind eyes and a laugh like home, was my fiancé. We met 3 years ago at the bookstore, bonding over dusty first editions. Our wedding was set for June. Invitations sent, my dress ready. But Lila had plans, hidden behind her sweet smiles. It started small. Rare books vanished, $10,000 drained from my savings, Mom's sapphire pendant gone. Lila played innocent. We'll figure it out, Clara. I trusted her, even when I saw her wearing the pendant. Laughing with Ethan at a party, her hand on his arm. The betrayal hit days before the wedding. I came home early, head aching from another $5,000 withdrawal, and heard Lila's laugh from my bedroom. I pushed the door open. Lila in my robe, Ethan shirtless, tangled in my sheets. My engagement ring glinting on the nightstand. Clara, Lila gasped, clutching the blanket. Ethan paled. It's not what you think. Not what you think? I screamed. You're in my bed with my sister. Days before our wedding. Ethan stammered. She said you were cheating. Cheating? I turned to Lila, who shrank back. You told him that? I was protecting him, she whispered. You were distant, Clara. Get out, I said, voice ice. Both of you. Ethan left, mumbling apologies. Lila pleaded. I love him, Clara. I didn't mean to hurt you. I slammed the door. The wedding was canceled, invitations burned, my heart shattered. Then the bookstore's safe was emptied. $20,000 gone. Lila vanished, leaving a note. I'm sorry. I needed a fresh start. Forgive me. Ethan was gone too. His apartment cleared. The police found no trace, no proof. I was alone, the bookstore teetering, my trust in ashes. A letter from Charleston in Lila's handwriting read, check the attic. You'll understand. In our parents' attic, I found a trunk with Dad's journals and a letter. Clara, if you're reading this, we're gone. Lila's not your sister. Not by blood. We adopted her to protect her from her mother, Anna, a troubled woman who died. Her brother, Victor Grant, might come for her. The bookstore's yours. Keep her safe. Lila, adopted? Victor, a shady businessman tied to Savannah's underworld? The truth cracked my world. I hired Dan Walsh, an ex-cop PI, to find Lila and Victor. He reported Lila was in Charleston with Ethan, living in a condo owned by Grant Enterprises, Victor's company. She's conning people, Dan said. Charms the rich, drains their accounts. Ethan's in on it. They targeted you. I drove to Charleston, confronting Lila. She admitted Victor found her, told her she was adopted, and said I'd stolen her inheritance. Ethan confessed Victor paid him to betray me. Victor stormed in, demanding half the bookstore, claiming it was Anna's legacy, showing forged documents framing me for embezzlement. I bluffed, saying I had proof of Anna's crimes. Lila turned on Victor, begging to stop. Ethan backed her, and Victor left, threatening me. Back in Savannah, I found a deed in Anna's name, Mom's note saying it was Lila's legacy. Lila sold it, repaying half the stolen money. Victor died in a suspicious car crash, brake lines cut. Dan suspected Ethan, who'd vanished. A package with a Poe book, The Telltale Heart, held a note. The heart still beats. Ask Lila about the crash. Lila denied knowing, but Ethan had called her, guilt-ridden. A bookstore break-in stole Dad's journals, replaced with a note. Meet me at Forsyth Park, 3 a.m. M. I met Marcus, Victor's son, who demanded the bookstore, claiming Victor funded it with a loan agreement. Ethan appeared, shooting Marcus in the shoulder, admitting he killed Victor to protect me. I grabbed the journals. Ethan fled. Marcus was arrested. The loan was unenforceable. Lila and I rebuilt, opening Anna's pages, but a note from E warned, "The heart still beats." The notes continued, slipped under the door, tucked into deliveries. "The heart beats louder, Clara. You can't silence it." I tasked Dan with finding Ethan and Marcus, digging into Anna's past. He reported, Anna ran cons with Victor, 80s and 90s, forgery, theft, blackmail. She had a daughter before Lila, given up at birth. No name, but Anna's letters mention a shadow child hidden from Victor. Leela, overhearing, paled. Another sister? I showed her Anna's letter. My first girl's safe, far from Victor. Lila's my second chance. Lila wept. I brought this on us. A package arrived. A Dickens, Great Expectations, with a note. The past expects payment. River Street, midnight. Dan insisted on backup. A woman approached. Nora, 30s, dark hair, Lila's eyes. I'm Anna's daughter, she said. I want my share. She showed a photo, Anna with a baby and a bank statement. $50,000 from Anna to my parents, 1990. They used her money, she said. Half, or I go public. I invited her to the bookstore. She joined, taking 20%, shelving books. But the notes persisted. You welcomed the wrong wolf. E. Dan traced a burner phone to a Savannah motel. I found Ethan, gun on the table. I killed Victor, shot Marcus to protect you, he said. Nora's with Marcus. At the bookstore, Nora held a knife to Lila's throat, Marcus beside her. Nora's my sister. Victor's daughter, not Anna's, he said. Ethan fired a warning shot. I hit Nora with a bat. Police arrested them. Nora and Marcus were Victor's children, their documents forged. Ethan confessed to Victor's murder. Lila and I opened Ellen's pages, found Anna's journal denying a shadow child, a lie to protect Lila. A package with Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment held a note. Guilt finds us all. The attic holds more. V. In the attic, a box with Victor's initials contained letters from Elena Voss, Victor's partner, demanding Anna's money, and a photo of Elena with a girl resembling me, Sophie Voss. Dan confirmed Sophie ran a gallery in Savannah. At Voss Gallery, Sophie demanded half the bookstore, showing a USB with Dad's voice begging Elena for silence. At Tybee Island, Elena appeared, alive, demanding half. Ethan shot Elena, wounding her, and was arrested with Sophie. The USB confirmed my parents' deal with Elena, but her blackmail nullified her claim. Lila and I opened Robert's pages, Mom's diary revealing Victor caused their fatal crash. A note, the heart never stops. S hinted at Sophie or a new threat. The note signed S was a splinter in my soul. Sophie's name, or someone else's, etched into my sleepless nights. Bennett's pages, Anna's pages, Ellen's pages, and Robert's pages stood as pillars in Savannah, their shelves brimming with stories, their walls echoing our survival. Lila's smile, softened by her marriage to Tom, the barista, was a fragile light. Her therapy sessions peeling back Victor's lies, but not her guilt. I fortified our defenses, bulletproof glass, a security guard named Ray, and a panic button linked to the police. The vault beneath Ellen's pages held Anna's tape, Dad's journals, and the $100,000, but I felt their secrets clawing, demanding release. I called Dan, handing over the latest note. Sophie's locked up, I said. Who's S? Dan's eyes darkened. Victor had another ally, Samuel Holt, a fixer for his cons, late 50s, last seen in Savannah. He handled their dirty work, forged documents, payoffs. And there's a rumor Anna had a safe deposit box, never found, with cash and secrets. Find it, I said, my pulse racing, and track Samuel. Lila overheard, her hand on her pregnant belly. Clara, we're starting a family. Can't we stop? I hugged her, no answer to give. The bookstores were our legacy, but their roots were poisoned. A package arrived at Robert's Pages, a leather-bound Melville, Moby Dick, with a note. The whale hunts deeper. Check the garden shed. J. The shed behind our Victorian house was a rotting relic. Lila and I pried it open, finding a locked chest, Victor's initials carved on it. Inside, a ledger, photos, and a letter from Julian Carter, 1994. Clara, Lila, if you find this, I'm gone. Victor killed my brother James Carter for betraying his network. This ledger names his allies, cops, judges, a lawyer named Margaret Lane. I hid $200,000 Victor's blood money in the bookstore's basement under the boiler. Expose them or burn it. Margaret Lane? Lila gasped. Lane was a prominent Savannah attorney, now retired, rumored to fund Elliot Kane's campaigns. The photos showed Victor with Lane, passing envelopes, and one chilling image. James bound by the river, Victor holding a knife. The ledger listed payments, $50,000 to Lane, 1993, marked silence. My hands shook. This is bigger than Kane, I told Lila. Dan accessed Victor's safe deposit box at Coastal Credit Union, finding a tape and documents. The tape was Victor's voice. If I'm dead, Lane's running things. She's got my files, every deal, every hit. Julian's hunting me, but I'll get him first. The documents named Lane as Victor's legal shield. Dan warned. Lane's untouchable, friends in high places, but Julian's alive, working as a dockhand, alias John Reed. I tracked Julian to the Savannah River docks, a gaunt man with James's eyes. Clara, he said, you found my note. You're Jay, I said. Why hide? Victor's people are everywhere, he said. Lane ordered your parents' crash, not Victor. She wanted Lila, Anna's legacy. I've got proof. Recordings, Lane and Victor planning it. Forsyth Park, midnight. I told Dan and Lila, who begged me not to go. Forsyth Park was silent, the fountain glinting. Julian appeared. But so did Margaret Lane, 60s, silver hair, flanked by two men with guns. Clara, she said. You're persistent. You killed my parents, I said, clutching Julian's USB. Victor's idea, she said. I pulled the strings. Your bookstores are mine. Anna's money, my cut. Julian lunged, I swung my bat, Dan fired warnings. Lane fled, her men subdued. Julian's folder named Lane's allies. Cops, a judge, a mogul. The FBI raided, Lane vanished. A warrant out. The bookstores thrived. But a note in a Dickens' bleak house warned, justice is cold. The heart hunts on. M. Dan traced Lane to a Charleston safe house, empty, with a photo of Lila, red X. I hired Ray full-time, guarding Lila, now with baby Ellen. In the bookstore's basement, I found $200,000 in Anna's tape. I didn't die. Victor faked it, hid me. Lane knows I'm alive. Anna, in an Atlanta nursing home, confirmed Lane's threat. I hid her in Robert's Pages, Ray guarding. A final note. The heart never dies. M. The note signed M was a knife in my chest, Margaret Lane's shadow looming over our fragile peace. Bennett's Pages, Anna's Pages, Ellen's Pages, and Robert's Pages stood tall, their shelves alive with stories, their walls resonating with our resilience. Lila, cradling baby Ellen, found joy with Tom, but her eyes held fear, therapy unable to erase the scars of Victor's manipulation. I bolstered security, motion sensors, encrypted safes, and Ray, now a constant shadow, armed and vigilant. The vault beneath Ellen's pages held Anna's tape, James's journal, Julian's ledger, and $300,000, blood money from Victor's empire. But the notes kept coming, each a taunt. The heart breathes fire, Clara. You'll burn. M. I called Dan Walsh, handing over the latest note. Lane's gone, I said. Who's M? Dan's voice was heavy. Lane had a protege, Miranda Holt, Samuel's sister, 40s, a ghost in Victor's network. She handled their finances, laundered millions. And there's more. Anna mentioned a second safe deposit box in her tape at Savannah Trust Bank with her final secrets. Miranda might want it. Find her, I said, my heart pounding, and access that box. Lila, rocking Ellen, overheard. Clara, we have a daughter now. Please let this end. I hugged her, whispering, I'll make it safe. But the bookstores, our legacy, were built on lies, and I couldn't stop until every shadow was exposed. A new package arrived at Bennett's pages, a tattered Austen, Pride and Prejudice, with the note, Pride falls hard. The old oak holds more. M. The old oak was a massive tree in our backyard, its roots sprawling. Lila and I, with Ray guarding, dug beneath it, unearthing a rusted box, Anna's initials etched deep. Inside, a diary, photos, and a key. Anna's diary, 1996, read, Clara, Lila, if you find this, I'm alive, hidden by Victor. He faked my death to control me. The keys to Savannah Trust Bank, box 472, with proof of Lane's crimes. She ordered James's murder, not Victor. Miranda Holt knows I'm alive. She wants the bookstores. Run. Lane ordered James's murder? Lila whispered, Ellen asleep in her arms. The photo showed Anna, frail with a woman, Miranda Holt, 30s then, red hair, eyes cold. I called Dan, sending photos. Check Savannah Trust Bank, box 472. And find Miranda. Dan reported, Box 472 requires Anna's key and a password, Jasmine. Miranda's been spotted in Savannah, running a shell company, Holt Investments. She's after the box and she's dangerous, tied to Lane's escape. I drove to Savannah Trust Bank with Anna, now frail but fierce, hidden in a scarf. The clerk opened box 472, a ledger, a USB drive, and a letter. The ledger listed Lane's payments, $100,000 to Miranda, 1995, for cleanup. The USB held recordings, Lane's voice. Kill James, frame Anna, the bookstores are ours. The letter from Anna. Clara, Lila, Lane and Miranda planned everything. My fake death, your parents' crash. Miranda's the key. Stop her. I clutched the USB, Anna trembling beside me. She's right, Anna said. Miranda's ruthless. She'll come for Ellen. My blood ran cold. I hid Anna in a safe house, Ray guarding, and gave Dan the USB. Leak it to the FBI, I said. Find Miranda. Dan traced Miranda to a warehouse on Savannah's outskirts. I went alone, bat and knife in my bag, Lila begging me to stay. The warehouse was dark, crates looming. Miranda emerged, red hair glinting, gun in hand. Clara, she said, smirking. You never learn. You're M, I said. You want the bookstores. Lane's legacy, she said. Anna's money started them and I'm owed. Hand over the USB or Ellen pays. I laughed, shaky. It's with the FBI. You're done. Her eyes narrowed. Then you die. She fired, grazing my shoulder. I dove behind a crate, bat swinging, hitting her knee. She fell, cursing. Ray burst in, tackling her, but a new figure appeared. Julian Carter, gun raised. Clara down, he shouted, firing a warning shot. Miranda froze. Ray cuffed her. Julian panted. Lane's in Charleston. I've been tracking her. You knew? I said, blood seeping. Why not tell me? I was protecting you, he said. Lane's got a network. Cops? A DA. I've got more. Files? In my truck. Police swarmed, Miranda arrested, my shoulder bandaged. Julian's files named Lane's allies. A DA, Thomas Reed, and a real estate tycoon, Clara Vaughn, named after me, chillingly. The FBI raided, Reed and Vaughn arrested, but Lane remained a ghost. The bookstores thrived, but a note in a Dickens bleak house warned, "Justice is cold. The heart hunts on. M." Dan traced Lane to a Charleston safe house, empty, with a photo of Lila, red X. I hired Ray full-time, guarding Lila, now with baby Ellen. In the bookstore's basement, I found $200,000 in Anna's tape. I didn't die. Victor faked it, hid me. Lane knows I'm alive. Anna, in an Atlanta nursing home, confirmed Lane's threat. I hid her in Robert's pages, Ray guarding. A final note. The heart never dies. M. The note signed M was a blade twisting in my heart. Margaret Lane's shadow, a relentless specter over our fragile peace. Bennett's pages, Anna's pages, Ellen's pages, and Robert's pages stood as beacons in Savannah, their shelves alive with stories of hope and betrayal, their walls resonating with our hard-won resilience. Lila, cradling baby Ellen, found fleeting joy with Tom, but her eyes betrayed a lingering dread, her therapy sessions peeling back layers of Victor's manipulation, yet unable to erase the fear of new threats. I fortified our defenses beyond measure. Motion sensors on every door, encrypted safes in each bookstore, and Ray, our security guard, now a constant presence, armed with a pistol and a vigilance born of loyalty. The vault beneath Ellen's pages held Anna's tape, James's journal, Julian's ledger, and $300,000. Victor's blood money, a cursed inheritance. But the notes, those relentless notes kept coming, each one a taunt etched in venom. The heart breathes fire, Clara. You'll burn with it. M. I called Dan Walsh, my voice steady despite the tremor in my hands, handing over the latest note. Lane's a ghost. Miranda's in prison, I said. Who's M now? Dan's face, weathered by years of chasing shadows, darkened. There's another player. Miles Carver, a forger in Victor's circle, 50s, a master of aliases. He crafted Lane's fake IDs, helped her vanish, and Anna's tape hinted at a third safe deposit box at Georgia Heritage Bank with her final secrets. Maybe enough to end this. Miles could be after it. Find him, I said, my pulse a drumbeat, and get that box. Lila, rocking Ellen in Robert's pages, overheard, her face pale. Clara, Ellen's 6 months old. We're a family. Can't you let this go? I knelt beside her, touching Ellen's tiny hand. I'll keep you safe, I whispered. But the bookstores, our legacy, were built on a foundation of lies, and I couldn't rest until every secret was dragged into the light. A new package arrived at Anna's pages, slipped into a delivery of rare books. A worn copy of Conrad's Heart of Darkness, its pages yellowed, a note tucked inside. Darkness consumes all. The carriage house holds more, M. The carriage house, a crumbling structure behind our Victorian home, had been boarded up since childhood, its windows opaque with grime. Lila, clutching Ellen, refused to come. It's too dangerous, Clara, she said, tears welling. I nodded, taking Ray and a crowbar, my bat in my bag. The carriage house door groaned as we pried it open, revealing a musty interior littered with old furniture. Beneath a rotting rug, we found a trapdoor, locked, Anna's initials carved into the wood. Ray broke it open, revealing a steel box. Inside, a ledger, a stack of letters, and a key. The ledger listed payments from Victor to Miles Carver, $75,000 in 1994, marked Documents for Lane. The letters were from Anna, 1997. Clara, Lila, if you find this, I'm alive, hidden by Victor. He faked my death to trap me. The keys to Georgia Heritage Bank, box 813, with proof of Miles's forgeries and Lane's murders. James, your parents, others. Miles knows I'm alive. He's Lane's shadow. Run. Miles Carver, I muttered, my hands shaking. He's M. Ray's eyes narrowed. We need Dan. I called him, sending photos of the ledger and letters. Check Georgia Heritage Bank, box 813. Find Miles Carver. Lila, when I told her, clutched Ellen tighter. Anna's alive. But we're still hunted, she whispered. Why us? Because we're the heart, I said, echoing James's words. We fight or we fall. Dan reported, Box 813 needs Anna's key and a password. Legacy. Miles was spotted in Savannah, running a print shop, Carver's Ink, a front for his forgeries. He's tied to Lane's escape, maybe her new M. I drove to Georgia Heritage Bank with Anna, her frail frame hidden in a hooded coat, her eyes fierce despite her weakness. The clerk opened box 813, a USB drive, a notebook, and a photo. The USB held recordings, Miles's voice conspiring with Lane. Frame Anna, kill James, crash the Bennett's car. The bookstores are ours. The notebook detailed Miles's forgeries, passports, deeds, even my parents' adoption papers for Lila. The photo showed Miles with Lane, 1995, outside Bennett's pages, plotting. Anna whispered, Miles forged my death certificate. He's as ruthless as Lane. I hid Anna back in the safe house, Ray guarding, and gave Dan the USB. Leak it to the FBI, I said. Find Miles. Dan traced him to a print shop on Bay Street, its windows dark. I went with Ray, bat and knife ready, Lila begging me to stay. The shop smelled of ink and deceit, machines humming softly. Miles emerged, wiry, 50s, with a scar across his cheek, holding a gun. Clara Bennett, he said, voice smooth as oil. You're digging graves. You're M, I said, gripping my bat. You forged Anna's death. Helped Lane kill my parents. He smirked. Lane's vision, your bookstores, Anna's money, my work. Hand over the USB or Ellen's next. I laughed, blood pounding. It's with the FBI. You're finished. His scar twitched. Then you're dead. He fired, the bullet grazing my arm. I dove behind a press, bat swinging, cracking his shin. He stumbled, cursing. Ray tackled him, but a new figure appeared. Isabel Lane, Margaret's daughter, 25, eyes wild, holding a knife. Clara, you ruined my mother. She screamed, lunging. I dodged. Ray fired a warning shot, and Dan burst in, cuffing Miles. Isabel froze, dropping the knife, tears streaming. I didn't want this, she said. Mom forced me. Police swarmed, Miles and Isabel arrested. My arm bled, but I refused the hospital, needing answers. Isabel confessed. Mom's in Savannah, hiding in a mansion on Bull Street. She trained me to send the notes, keep you scared. Dan raided the mansion, finding Lane's hideout. Empty, but with a laptop containing her plans. Seize the bookstores, frame Lila for money laundering, kidnap Ellen. A photo showed Ellen's crib, a red X. My heart stopped. I moved Lila, Tom, and Ellen to a fortified cabin outside Savannah, Ray and 2 guards watching. Anna, in the safe house, gave a final clue. Lane's working with a cop, Detective Paul Grayson, on her payroll. He's her eyes in Savannah. Dan confirmed Grayson's corruption. Payments from Lane traced to an offshore account. I confronted Grayson at the police station, his badge glinting. Clara, he said, smirking. You're out of your depth. You're Lane's dog, I said, holding a recorder, Dan hidden nearby. I've got her laptop, your payments. His smirk faded. Walk away, or Lila's family pays. I played the recorder. Lane's voice, naming Grayson. He lunged, Dan tackled him, police arresting their own. Grayson got 5 years, Lane's network crumbling further. But Lane was still out there. A new note arrived at Ellen's pages in a hearty Tess of the D'Urbervilles. Fate cuts deep. The marsh holds more. L, the marsh, Wilmington Island, where Anna once hid. I went with Dan, Ray, and Julian, leaving Lila safe. The marsh was eerie. Fog thick, reeds whispering. We found a shack, Lane's initials carved on the door. Inside, a box. A tape, photos, and a letter from Lane. Clara, you can't win. The bookstores are mine. I've got one last card. Anna's son, Nathan, hidden since birth. He's coming for you, Anna's son? I gasped. Anna in the safe house wept when I showed her. I never told you, she said. Nathan, born 1993, given up to protect him from Victor. Lane found him, turned him against me. Dan traced Nathan, 32, a mechanic in Savannah, alias Nathan Reed. I found him at a garage, his eyes like Lila's, unaware of his past. Nathan, I said. I'm Clara, Lila's sister. Lane's using you. He dropped his wrench, shaking. She said you stole my mother's legacy. I sent some notes. Lee was me, for Lane. Help us, I said. He nodded, giving me Lane's latest burner phone number. Dan traced it to a Tybee Island pier. I went with Nathan, Julian, Ray, and Dan. Lila safe. Lane stood alone, gun raised. Clara, she said. You brought my pawn. Nathan stepped forward. I'm done, Lane. She fired, grazing his leg. I swung my bat. Ray fired a warning. Police swarmed. Lane was cuffed, her empire dead. Nathan, wounded, joined us, seeking redemption with Anna. The bookstore stood tall. Lila's Ellen giggling, Anna frail but free. A final package arrived at Robert's pages. A Dante, Inferno, with a note. Hell waits, Clara. N. Nathan? Or another ghost? I locked it away. Bat close. Savannah's jasmine hiding thorns. Lane was gone, but I watched the shadows. My strength forged in betrayal's fire, ready for the next truth to claw free.